Okay. Okay. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Etobicoke. We're very honored to be here with Premier Ford, Minister Bethlenfalvy, Minister Sarkaria, MPP Christine Hogarth. Part of our plan to continue to talk about energy affordability for Ontario families. Just days ago, we introduced the Affordable Energy Act with one mission in mind: save money for families and seniors, save their hard-earned money. And yet, while our government reduces costs and the fuel taxes on our commuters, the Liberals are increasing the carbon tax again, up by another 23% as part of their plan to quadruple this tax and raise the prices of gas and heat and groceries. They want to tax you more as you barbecue lunch this weekend, or purchase groceries for your families, or fill up at the pump for the work week ahead. At what point do we as Canadians say enough? Now, under our Premier's leadership, we will never go back to the Kathleen Wynne days of skyrocketing energy rates, because we have a vision for our province where energy is abundant and affordable and reliable, where parents can afford to put their gas in the car to get their kids to school or get to work themselves, where our farmers can get their product to new markets, and where our businesses can expand and scale. That's why our government's vision for meeting growing energy demand is focused first and foremost on affordability, because we believe in technology, not taxation, to reduce emissions and to grow the economy. It's why Premier Ford and Minister Bethlenfalvy have never raised a tax on the backs of families, and we never will. We will keep costs down, we will fight the carbon tax, and we will stand up for common sense on our roads. And we will ensure communities get to keep more of their hard-earned money where it belongs. With that, I'm pleased to introduce a true champion for affordability, Ontario's Minister of Finance, Peter Bethlenfalvy. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Minister Lecce. It's great to be back in the great state of Etobicoke. I'm stealing someone's line there a little bit, and of course, the Premier knows this. My parents live down the road, my cousins, my aunts and uncles. I have siblings here in Etobicoke, and Premier, rest assured that we're going to contribute to the economy of Etobicoke by investing a little bit in the GDP of Etobicoke. So that's what a Minister of Finance does around the province, including Etobicoke. And folks, in a few days, we'll release our 2024 Ontario Economic Outlook and Fiscal Review. In it, you'll see how we're building on our plan to protect Ontario's economy and how we're taking bold action to provide relief for people, for families, for seniors, for workers, for businesses, for transit riders, and of course, drivers right across the province. The Fall Economic Statement will advance our government's prudent and responsible and targeted approach to managing the province's finances. L'exposé économique d'automne mettra en relief l'approche prudente, responsable et ciblée que notre gouvernement adopte dans la gestion des finances de la province. It will offer updates on our progress as we're building the critical infrastructure that our growing province needs. Because Ontario is growing, and it is our responsibility to build a better, stronger Ontario, not just for today, but for generations to come. And now it's my great honor and privilege to introduce the Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford.
Thank you. Boy, that was a great introduction, Peter, considering you have Etobicoke blood running through your veins there. Well, first of all, good morning, everyone, and I'm so pleased to be here in the great state of Etobicoke, joined by Minister Bethlenfalvy, great Finance Minister, Minister Lecce, Minister Sarkaria, and MPP Christine Hogarth. I want to acknowledge and welcome Anne from the Convenience Industry Council of Canada. Welcome, Anne. It's great to see you again. I also want to acknowledge Troy and Julie and everyone from Parkland Corporation. Thank you, Ravi, and the hardworking people here at Pioneer Gas for hosting us today. I keep an eye on their gas prices all the time, morning, noon, and night. As Peter mentioned, later this week, our government will be tabling our fall economic statement. This document, this plan, builds upon the work our government is doing to rebuild our economy, to strengthen our healthcare system, to tackle gridlock, and build the critical infrastructure our growing communities need. The plan also includes initiatives to put money back into your pockets instead of the government's pocket. Because while inflation and interest rates have come down a bit in recent weeks, the high cost of groceries, gas, and housing, along with the federal government's carbon tax, continue to squeeze the budgets of families and businesses right across this province. Friends, Minister Lecce mentioned the carbon tax. It's a terrible, terrible tax. It's a terrible policy. It now adds 17.6 cents to every liter of gas you purchase, and it's set to increase again on April the 1st, 2025 to 20.9 cents per liter, bumping up the cost of everything once again. It's absolutely ridiculous. And while Bonnie Crombie and her Liberals have a long documented history of championing the carbon tax, our government will always fight against it. As we do, we're going to continue to look for ways to save people and businesses money. In 2022, we introduced a temporary gas and fuel tax cut by 10.7 cents per liter, saving households hundreds of dollars over the last 2 years. And today, I'm thrilled to announce that as part of our fall economic statement, we'll be extending this tax cut through to June 30th, 2025, saving households approximately $380 a year over the 3 years since the cuts were first introduced. People in Ontario work hard for their paychecks, and we know that every dollar helps. That's why we're on a relentless mission to save people money. We eliminated roll tolls on the 412, 418. We scrapped the license plate sticker fee, saving the average household about $600 to date. We scrapped the tolls again on the 412 and 418, as I mentioned, and we're looking to scrap some other tolls in the very near future. Just stay tuned. Saving drivers thousands of dollars a year. We launched One Fare to eliminate the cost of transferring between transit agencies in the GTA, saving commuters up to $1,600 a year. We're fighting back against the carbon taxes, and we're cutting the gas tax. Together, these actions are saving Ontario households thousands and thousands of dollars every single year, and we're not stopping there. Our government will always look for ways to put money back into your pockets. Thank you to everyone for joining us today, and may God bless the people of Ontario. Thank you.
We will now open the floor for questions from the media. Please come to the mic and state your name and outlet. Just a reminder, it's one question and one follow-up. First question.
Hello, I'm Andriane Williams with CBC French. I'm going to ask my questions in English, and then I know that Minister Bethlenfalvy may be able to answer it in French, so it'd be great. Sorry. So we know that the province deficit was supposed to triple for 2024, 2025, reaching $9.8 billion. So how is the province projecting it's going to be able to face that deficit if it keeps on cutting revenues, important revenues that it could put in its pockets?
Peter?
Well, thank you, Premier, and thank you for the question. First, I'll answer in English, and I'll switch to French. Look, we've been focused on building Ontario at the same time being fiscally responsible. As you saw in our books that just closed, our public accounts, our deficit shrank to $600 million. Our interest expense to revenue was the lowest since the 1980s. Our debt to GDP, this is the economic fiscal numbers to tell you about the health of the province. Our debt to GDP at 37.3, the lowest in over a decade. Our borrowing costs are the lowest they've been in 10 years, the lowest in Canada. So we've done a great job managing the books fiscally responsibly. Of course, in a few days I'll be updating the numbers for 24-25 in the fall economic statement, so stay tuned. But, a hallmark of this government is that you can do both, respect the taxpayers' dollars, put them back in their pockets, and build Ontario at the same time. En français, restez à l'écoute pour mon lancement mercredi prochain. Et toujours, on fait des choses pour respecter l'argent pour les impôts pour les consommateurs en Ontario. Et on va toujours mettre l'argent dans les poches des gens qui travaillent très fort dans notre province. Nous sommes responsables avec les finances de la province et nous allons continuer cette responsabilité pour tous les gens dans la province. Merci pour la question.
My follow-up. So isn't it just one more gift to Ontarians as more and more rumors about early elections are,
But before I pass it over back to Peter, we're just prudent fiscal managers, and I have to remind everyone, it's not the government's money; it's the taxpayers' money. Yes. And the difference. The difference is, Peter, I call him the best finance minister in the country, bar none. When BC doesn't have a path to balance, when Quebec doesn't have a path to balance, when the federal government doesn't have a path to balance, guess who has a path to balance? It's our government through the leadership of our finance minister, Peter Bethlenfalvy.
Well, thank you, Premier. I think you nailed it there. You know, we're very much focused on, and have been since day one, putting hard-earned taxpayers' money back in their pockets. Just in my last budget, we put $8 billion back in the pockets of people in Ontario. We put $8 billion back in the pockets of businesses who know how to manage the money better, for their businesses, to reinvest in their businesses, and we'll update those numbers in the fall economic statement in a few days on Wednesday, October 30th. You know, I would also say for many people, while interest rates have come down, inflation has come down, costs are still very high. You know, the people are still struggling to make mortgage payments, rent payments, paying for groceries. And so this government has never relented, as the Premier said, helping people at a time when costs have been high. And so we're going to continue to help them with cost of living. En français, les taux d'intérêt, tous les coûts pour les épiceries sont toujours en basse, mais en fait, ils sont toujours hauts. Alors, un peu d'argent pour les gens qui travaillent fort dans cette province, les business, les entreprises qui travaillent chaque jour. Il faut toujours aider eux pour avec un peu d'argent dans ses poches, dans ces entreprises. Et c'est un gouvernement qui va toujours travailler pour eux. Merci.
Dave Woodcock, Global News.
Yes.
How many more cents would a liter of gas cost without the continue cost?
How much more cents? Well, we're deducting 10.7 cents. Right now, it's over 17 cents of carbon tax of the federal government. That will go up to over 20 cents. And totally, it's $600 million for every 6 months. So we're saving taxpayers money, $1.2 billion each and every single year going back into their pocket.
Thank you. And a lot of Ontarians don't have a car, so how would this help them?
Well, I totally disagree. 70% of the people drive cars. 1% at the peak of the summer, 1.2% drive bikes. When it goes into the winter, it drops down to probably 0.25%, if that. So we have 70% of the people driving, not to mention probably another 20% on commerce and trucks and vans that are delivering goods to market. So it's overwhelming. Majority of the people in this province drive a car. And in certain areas of this province, vast majority of this area in the province have no other mode but a car.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This will be the last reporter.
Good morning, everybody. Corey Baird, CTV News. I want to ask about the process of revinning. The federal transport minister is asking for a meeting with her provincial counterpart, who surprisingly is here. So hoping to get a comment
Sure.
whether you will commit to that meeting and what the government is currently doing to combat the practice.
Thank you very much. Look, we're working on legislation to bring in some of the toughest penalties on the impacts of revinning that are taking place. As a government, we have stepped in to also produce legislation that is before the House that would take away licenses from people who are caught stealing vehicles. But ultimately, what we need here to stop auto theft in our communities is bail reform. These criminals are getting back out into our communities, stealing multiple cars, sometimes in the same day, sometimes getting arrested just after getting bail in court parking lots. So it's something that the federal government also needs to step up on, is be tougher on these criminals. Let's fix our justice system so those people that are stealing these vehicles, coming into people's houses, taking gunpoint, taking cars away from people in parking lots, that we have stiffer penalties. That's what this Premier, that's what our government has been calling on, and will continue to do, and bring and introduce legislation that will bring in the toughest penalties, whether it be on revinning or those who are trying to steal vehicles, to the power that we have as a provincial government. But it's important that the federal government step up, do their part, and put these people behind bars.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us here, and no matter if it's cutting the gas tax by 10.7 cents, getting rid of the tolls on the 412, 418, getting rid of the license sticker tax, introducing the one fare, saving people $1,600 a year, we're going to continue looking at ways of putting money back into your pockets until you can spend it the way you want instead of the government. We're the only government in this country that's doing that. We're going to continue focusing on making sure we help people, give them a hand up, creating a strong economy that we've seen over 860,000 new jobs created here in Ontario. We're going to keep working for the people, and we're going to get it done. And folks, the best has yet to come. Thank you.
Thank you. This concludes today's press conference.